We condemn in the strongest terms the systematic persecution of ethnic and religious minorities by ISIL. These are abominable acts. We are very clear that they only further demonstrate ISIL's mission to divide and destroy Iraq, and they have absolutely no place in the future of Iraq.
They told us to grab our things, and so we packed our bags and we left. On our way, we had to go through an area where they had set up a checkpoint. They asked us to get out of the car. We got out. They took our things and our bags, our money, everything we had on us.
The future, I don't know what is going to happen to us. Our future is uncertain. Our house is now gone. They took it and put it under their name. They wrote Islamic State on it. Now what?
The terror group ISIS in Iraq gave an ultimatum, 72 hours for Christians to get out, among others. And here is Human Rights Watch Middle East director saying ISIS is carrying out a vicious campaign against minorities in and around Mosul. Being a Turkmen, a Shabak, Yazidi, or Christian in ISIS territory can cost you your livelihood, your liberty, or even your life. We're back with the panel. Charles, what about this?
Look, this is a tragedy happening all across the Middle East. Christians have been under pressure in Lebanon. Their population's way down. In Egypt, the Copts have been attacked for years now. This is now the worst instance of this. But this reveals the essence of jihadism. You know, isolationists here in the U.S., starting with, say, Ron Paul, among others, would say, well, 9/11 was a result of the stuff we did to offend, to oppress, whatever, Muslims around the world, at least in part. It was a retaliation. Now you look at what ISIS is doing. What was the crime of the Christians against ISIS? None. This is the purest ethnic cleansing. This is the pure essence of the intolerance and the barbarism of this kind of Islamic radicalism. We know a month before 9/11, the Taliban went into the desert and destroyed 1,400-year-old magnificent statues of the Buddha. Were the Buddhists oppressing the Muslims in Afghanistan? No. This is the hatred of the other, the total exclusive. This is stuff Europe hasn't seen in 400 years. This is the medieval, killing of one sect of another, and it is the essence of Islamic jihadism. You see it here in the purest way. You see it with Hamas. It wants to wipe out the Jews. You see it in Egypt with the Copts. You see it Boko Haram with the attack on the churches in Nigeria. It's all over. This is not about what the West has done. This is not about imperialism. This is not a payback. This is the expression of jihadism, and we see it tonight in the most horrible form.
Ethnic cleansing, Ron, does it change the equation about whether to act in Iraq or not for this administration?
It's hard. I mean, at first, this is one of the unintended consequences of the invasion. Ironically, a lot of these Christians were doing better under Saddam Hussein, and with the U.S. invasion, they fled north into Syria and different parts of Iraq. But look, there's no equivalency, obviously, between what the Christians are going through and what is happening on our border. But I will say, for the same reason why we can't let every downbeaten, persecuted, violence-ridden child from Latin America to come into America. America can't do everything to save every Christian. I mean, this is a horrible thing that's happening, and the United States only has so much power.
Kirsten.
Look, I think that this is something that's been going on for a long time, like Charles said. I mean, there's an Islamist slogan, first the Saturday people, then the Sunday people, meaning first we kill all the Jews, then we kill all the Christians. That is what's going on throughout the Middle East. Christian persecution, in particular, has gotten much, much worse. Pew had something out saying, that it's in 130 countries Christians are persecuted. There's another poll showing, or a survey showing that Christian martyr deaths have doubled just in the last year. So this is a real problem, and it's unfortunately it's not. You asked him about whether or not having more troops there would help. The same exact thing happened in the Dora neighborhood in Baghdad.
Not necessarily troops. I'm saying any additional military action beyond what the administration is considering now. Does it change the equation? Is what I asked.
Yeah, I think that right now the biggest issue is getting these people humanitarian aid and resettlement aid, and Congressman Fortenberry tomorrow is going to introduce a resolution calling on the UN to do that, because they have lost everything and they're never going to get it back. And so I think that, and then there are other things the U.S. could be doing. Primarily, Saudi Arabia is the main problem. They're the ones who sort of foment all of this through their education, through their textbooks. The U.S. needs to be putting more pressure on them. But I think immediately it's a humanitarian issue.
But apart from the military thing, which we cannot affect in any way, it's going to be in the hands of the Iraqi army. It'll succeed or it won't. But what we can do, where is the president on this? This is a persecution of Christians who predate the Muslims by 600 years in the Middle East. These people in Mosul were there before there was Islam. In the same way that the Jews of Baghdad, who were about a third of the population in the late 40s, were expelled, who were there 1,000 years before that. This is the exclusivity of this kind of radicalism. Where's the president? He talked about how disrespectful we were to Muslims in many of his speeches. Where is he standing up for the Christian minorities in Egypt, in Lebanon, in Palestine, among other places in the West Bank, and now in Iraq, as a way to say we care about this and America stands up by this, instead of a dumb statement coming out of the State Department.
That is it for the panel, but stay tuned for some Apollo 11 anniversary coverage that really never got off the launch pad.